everybody, this is Dave Dugdale, learningdslrvideo.com. So what I'm going to try to do is balance this GH4 with a 9-18 lens on here. This has already been balanced for the A7S, which I'm actually filming with right now. I'm finding it's a good exercise to try different bodies and lenses combinations, and then tweaking the software. And every time I do this iteration, I get better at it. I get better at balancing it. I get faster at figuring out the software. So each time I do it, that's a good exercise. So first thing is to mount the camera to here. And I don't think it's going to fit here because the body's going to be too close to it. So I'm going to try where the A7S was. Let's go ahead and mount that. And this lens, which is kind of unique, if you guys have ever seen this lens, there's actually a button on the side. It's a release button, and you can actually get this thing to go, if I can do it. I might have to demonstrate this later, but because I'm not getting it. There. That's how it retracts, but it doesn't work that way. So to go to 9, I have to be all the way out here, and that's where I want to film, which is 9, which is like 18. And then if you add the crop factor at 4K, that's more like 2.3 times a 9. What is that, like 20 or 21? All right, so what I'm going to do is loosen up the roll axis. I'll try to do this in such a way where you guys can see what I'm doing here. And I usually only loosen or tighten one of these. If you watch my very first video, I was very frustrated with all this stuff, and I'm still frustrated with this having to use an Allen wrench. Jason Wingrove actually has a really cool idea. He sent away for some thumb screws that will replace these. So if those work for him, I might be picking up some myself. All right, so what you're going to see is I've got some clearance here. If I got one over, I'd have no clearance. I wouldn't be able to tighten this. So right now, this is about as close as I can get it. So let's first balance this axis a little bit. My method is usually balance that first, and then take the roll axis, and let's push this over to the side. You can see we're already pretty close. You know, I'm actually not going to tighten that up. Actually, I will, but just ever so slightly. So I can still drag it a little bit if I want to, but just enough. Not super tight, but just enough where it'll hold. All right, so now, try to do this in a way so you can see. I'm shooting on the A7S with the 20mm what is the Voltlander? Something like that. Sounds German, but I think it's made in Japan. All right, I'm going to be putting this on my second channel. So again, you know, I've got this axis pretty well, and every time I tighten this, I know it's always going to pull it backwards. And sure enough, see how it pulled it backwards? So I actually have to go a little bit farther than I think I do. This one is always the toughest one to do because it always pulls. All right, so roll-wise, I think we're there. 45 degrees, 45 degrees, and then it stays, but I have a feeling this is not going to work. The reason this is not working is now I have to change the pitch. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen this up. If I can, get my wrench in there. Somebody made the good suggestion of cutting this down so I can get this in there. And that is a good, I think I usually just do this top one, so hopefully, yeah, there we go. So what I'm going to do now, sorry if I'm pointing it the wrong way for you guys, but for me, I can work a little bit better here. So if it's too high up like this, it's going to fall quickly forward or back, so we don't want that. If it's too far down, you'll notice it swings like this. What we want to do is get it kind of right in the middle. so we can do that 45-degree angle. So actually that's pretty darn good. I think that's where I need to be. So I'm going to quickly tighten that up before it changes its mind. Get that in there. Now usually when you tighten these, or I only just usually tighten one, these will hold quite nicely and they won't make any changes, not like the quarter 20 on the bottom that always pushes it forward. So now let me look at the time. See, we're at 5 minutes and 48 seconds, and I think I'm really close. So I can go this way, 45 degrees, 45 degrees, and 45 degrees, about 45 degrees. Now, here comes the killer question. There's only, on this sled, there's only 3 positions. So if I'm off on this, then it's going to take me a bit longer. But now I got to take this and I'm going to rotate this 45 degrees. And if it turns, see how it's turning, it's back heavy? And then try it this way, and it should be obviously back heavy this way as well. So what I'm going to do, so I'm not going to be able to do this in 5 minutes, unfortunately, is I'm going to have to move the sled. See if it's back heavy, I have to move the sled forward one. Now this is where things will get slow. I wish they would be able to change their design on this one. And the fact that there's only 3 positions makes it this process very slow. So instead of me balancing this in 6 minutes, it's going to take me probably 10 minutes, because this process is usually lengthy. Now this part of it is the thing I would consider this is, I know a lot of people watched this first video that I did and it was like watching paint dry. And people are like, that's too much trouble. But as you can see, if I didn't have to move this sled, I would have been done in 6 minutes, which is good. I wouldn't want to do this out in the field though. I would want to have it nice and ready, and I would probably tighten all these up a bit more. So if I'm out in the field and running with it, that nothing gets jogged loose. Again, I should have said in the beginning of the video, I am not any sort of 3-axis gimbal wizard, expert, whatever word you want to come up with. I'm not even close. I think M over at Cheesy Cam, who has probably at least a year more of experience, I think he started getting heavily into this about a year ago, will even tell you he's not even an expert on it, and he's making his own unit. The PID settings, I think I was reading somewhere, PID, I wish I had that in front of me. I don't actually have it, but what PID stands for, all 3 of those words I think are calculus related terms. So they get pretty heavy into the math. And if you're still watching at this point, which I think a lot of people might have fast forwarded at this point, but I remember, taking calculus in college, and it was an utter pain. And then I got into university physics with calculus, and that was just, oh my gosh. I ended up doing a lot of engineering in my career, audio engineering, but I got to tell you, I never used any calculus. You'll see that I'm actually tightening these up pretty tight, which most people would say don't do because you got the other side to do, but I've found that you can actually do that and you will not get in trouble. I'm not going to run into problems here. So the PID settings in the software will actually take you a lot more time to get perfect. And again, going back to what I said earlier, I am not an expert on any of this stuff. So remember how I was just saying that you will not get in trouble if you tighten that down too much? I wonder if I just got in trouble. But anyway, what was I saying? I was saying something about calculus. Oh, the PID settings in the software. To get this, I think I've gotten pretty darn good results before with the GH4, with the 12 to 35, this lens right here, with the OIS, the image stabilization. And that worked really well. I think I got it to the point where when I'm walking with it, it looks tremendously smooth. And none of the stuff that I've published has any sort of warp stabilization in it. So what are we at now? Oh, I'm at 10 minutes. Yeah. If I didn't have to move this sled, I would have done a lot better. And then the PID settings and the power level settings for this, I'm sure are going to be way off because the A7S is very different. Especially, I mean, anytime, that's not even just the body, it's the body and lens combination. Anytime you throw a new lens on it, you know, when you change this profile switch from 1 to 3 or whatever, you can set it up for 1, like if you're running, to add more dampening. The PID, the D is for, I guess, it's kind of like dampening. Again, I think all those words are calculus related because there's some heavy stuff going on there. Stuff that I don't understand. Even if I went back to take calculus courses, I think I would get way too frustrated. All right, so I don't know where we at in terms of time, but I should be close. So 45 degrees, 45 degrees, 45 degrees. Now here comes the big test. Did I do it right? So if I take this and I go 45 degrees. Yeah, that's good. If I go the other way. Oh, come on, stay. All right, so I'd say that's pretty darn good in terms of balance. Flip it on. Again, these power PID settings or whatever are set for, let me see where this wants to go. Because I don't want to force this because it's got wires going up inside of it. So I don't want to turn that more than I have to. Let's go ahead and turn it on. And then let's go to the software. Right now I don't feel any vibration. Oh, a little bit of vibration right there, but you can see I'm knocking it around and it's complaining a little bit, but let's put it in mode 2. So that should lock it. You can see that the body is so close right there, it knocks. So you can't, you're limited in motion that way and that way. And I feel, see those vibrations right there, you can hear it. So I know there's probably too much power on the yaw, this motor down here. All right, so that took 13 minutes and 30 seconds. So now it's onto the software, which I'm not going to show because I'm not very good at it. It takes me like, this only took 10 minutes, but doing the software could take you all day to get it like silky smooth. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.